Hey there, welcome back to Dimension Quest. Well, I've not been producing many videos lately because work has been a bit complicated. So one of the things that I have been focusing on recently is I've been working on a lot of PowerShell scripts and PowerCLI. So as part of that, with all this PowerShell work, I'm doing a lot of stuff in Windows and the terminal there and the PowerShell terminal, whereas normally I'm accustomed to having my Linux desktop. So in today's video, I'm going to provide a much better terminal experience here in Windows 11 to match up similar to what I have over on Linux. Now, there are a few different options to doing that. On the Linux side, what I had used in the past was Oh-My-ZSH with ZSH as the shell. Under Oh-My-ZSH, I was running the PowerLevel10k prompt with the rainbow formatting. Now this has been nice and it's been functional, but with this move over to Windows, I needed to look at something different. Now my options over there would be Oh-My-Posh and Starship. So in this video, we'll be taking a look at getting Starship set up to look similar to the PowerLevel10k prompt that I'm accustomed to over on the Linux side. Now let's go ahead and get started here. Now I'm going to open up my Windows terminal here. We can see that it's opening in Windows PowerShell. And if we take a look at the version of that, we'll see that it's just 5.1. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the older PowerShell version there. I would prefer to work with PowerShell Core, which is running at 7.4.4. So if we click the little drop down here, we can see that I have another option in my menu for another shell, and it is PowerShell. So when we open that up, we can see that it's 7.4.4. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into my settings here, and I'm going to change my default profile from Windows PowerShell to PowerShell. There we go. We'll save that. And let's do one more thing here. So for the PowerShell profile, let's go over to that. And I want to adjust the appearance of it by changing its icon. So we'll go ahead and change the icon by clicking this drop down here. And we'll browse to a different file. So let's go digging through, see Program Files, PowerShell 7. And we go under Assets, and we can find we've got a few different icons to choose from. So here's the default. I'm not going to go with that little avatar. I'm going to go with the colorful icon there. So we'll open that and save. Okay. So that's all I'll do for the settings for right now. We'll come back here in a little bit. Now, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make it easy to get Starship installed and the necessary NerdFonts. Now, in order to do that, I've found that the easiest way is just to use Chocolatey. So, on a fresh install of Windows, we don't have Chocolatey, but we do have winget. So, let's use winget to install Chocolatey. Okay, we'll go ahead and click yes on that. Great. All right, let's just do a quick ls. Okay, that's kind of ugly. I think one of the other things that I'll do is I will replace my usage of ls with ls deluxe. So let's go ahead and get ls deluxe on here. Now, once we have ls deluxe installed, we'll be using the lsd command. Now, if you prefer, you can always alias that over, but one thing at a time. Let's use Chocolatey to install the necessary NerdFonts, Starship, and LSD. First off, let's search for the NerdFonts that we want. And we'll just keep it easy. We'll do Choco search nerd. Oh, that's right. So in order for the PowerShell prompt to see that you have Chocolatey installed, we'll just need to close it and reopen it. Okay, we can see that it opened up with my default preferred 744 PowerShell. Now, do we have Chocolatey available? We sure do. Great. Now we can see that we've got a variety of NerdFonts to choose from here. If you want to see what these NerdFonts look like, you can go to NerdFonts.com. Let's go ahead and open that up. There we go. So you can see that NerdFonts has a whole lot of information in here that you can get. All the icons, best developer fonts, blah, blah, blah. Now, one of the handy things is the cheat sheet. If you're looking for a specific icon, you can download the fonts. Now, if you're doing things manually, you can preview and download from here, and then you have to unzip the font, you have to install the font, all these different things. But by using Chocolatey to install the NerdFonts, it takes care of all of that for you. So my personal preference here is the Meslo fonts. So I'm going to tell it to install NerdFonts Meslo. All right, so Choco install NerdFonts Meslo. Let's go ahead and put that capital M there. I don't know if that's necessary, probably not. In addition to the Meslo NerdFonts, I want LS Deluxe. And of course, this whole video here is talking about improving our prompt, so we're going to get Starship. And yes. All right, if you run into an error like this, maybe you need to run it as admin. So let's go ahead and reopen our PowerShell as admin. Just right-click on that PowerShell menu entry and select Run as Administrator. Yes. It makes sense that you need to run it as admin because you do need elevated privileges to do things like install fonts. So let's try this again. I'll increase my font size here so that it's easier to read the screen. All right, so we can see that we are running our PowerShell as administrator, and we're going to do a Choco install NerdFonts Meslo, LS Deluxe, and Starship. That looks much better. And we'll just say all, because we do want the scripts to run so that the fonts and everything can get installed properly. Okay, so Chocolatey just did all kinds of necessary stuff for us. Imagine having to figure out all of these things individually by installing things manually. No, thank you. All right, package managers are great, and Chocolatey on Windows is one of the better ones that I've come across. Now that we have our fonts installed and we've got the Starship prompt available, we actually need to get things configured. So first, we want to go into our settings here for our prompt. Go to settings. And under PowerShell, actually, let's go to defaults. So defaults, icon, appearance. Appearance is where we want to adjust our font face. And let's select the LG. Yeah, let's select this one here. I've had good luck with most of these NerdFonts, but let's try this one out. All right, we can see that it renders the glyphs properly up there in the little preview. And let's go ahead and just bump up our font size a bit. Okay, and we'll save that. Let's take a look over here in PowerShell. Take a look at appearance, and good. So it has carried over the font face setting from defaults. So if we look under Windows PowerShell, hopefully it'll be there as well. And it is. So you could actually try out different fonts under your different shells by just doing an override here on their individual profile settings. But we don't need to do an override. All right, let's go ahead and just save and close out of our settings for now. Let's try the LSD command. Okay, we've got some pretty dark blue there, but we do see that the desktop icon is rendering a little computer icon there. Documents is rendering little documents. So this is looking like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, good. Now let's adjust this prompt, right? Because this prompt here, that's still just plain ugly. Now, in order to do that, we need to follow the instructions for Starship. Okay, we've already installed the latest version by using Chocolatey. And here we need to incorporate this into our profile. So let's just copy that. Now, the easy way to do this so that it launches that every time is to modify your profile. So let's just do Notepad, $profile. Okay, got it. And we will paste in the contents there. All right, so we don't have the whole path there. Now, I'll probably end up just writing a script to make this much easier for everybody. Let's go ahead and create a new folder called PowerShell. And now we should save that file in there. Save that. Okay. So now that Starship's installed, let's restart everything here. And now that we've restarted, right, Windows PowerShell knows that Starship is in the path. It's got all that loaded properly. We can see that our prompt has changed here, but this doesn't look anything like a PowerLevel10k rainbow prompt. And to get an idea of what we're shooting for here, let's switch over to one of my other systems. I'm going to go over to my work system and look at the top pane here. So the top pane in this Terminator console is the Oh-My-ZSH running PowerLevel10k and the rainbow prompt. We can see that we've got the operating system icon here, the folder structure there, the current branch of Git with its status, how long the last command took, which was just a sleep command of 5 seconds. And I have started typing K, so let's back that out and start K again. So K is an alias for kube control. And we can see that I have a configuration right now for a kind cluster that's available. So again, this is ZSH up here. We can see that by doing the echo there. In the bottom, I have bash. And for bash, I do have the Starship prompt loaded there, but you can see that things look a little different, right? So they still look like just the default Starship installation. Now, I have updated and worked on a starship.toml file. And if we just issue any command here, we'll get a fresh prompt. And here we go. So we can see on the left-hand side, I've got, again, the operating system. I've got a little glyph here that shows IP, and it shows the NIC that my default gateway is going out of, my local IP address, my folder structure, and the same or similar Git status here for the main branch. Over on the right-hand side, we see a check mark that shows that my last command was successful. We can see that it took 176 milliseconds. And here we're showing that I have the kind cluster for K8. So we've got a little Kubernetes logo there. And this little blue icon right here is indicating my shell. So that's showing that I have the bash shell running. Now, not everybody wants to have their IP address showing or their default gateway NIC, their interface. It's easy enough to disable those. So if we wanted to disable those, it's just a matter of modifying the starship.toml. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. So we see this running on Ubuntu with the Ubuntu logo there. On my local system, which is a Fedora workstation, we can take a look at my Terminator console here. And you can see I'm using the same config. Instead of the Ubuntu logo, it is showing the Fedora logo. I've got my interface showing. So let's just do a quick mod to our starship.toml to disable the interface and the IP address. Now we'll go into the config file, starship.toml, and we want to disable local IP and custom interface. So if we just go down and find our custom.interface, there we go, custom.interface, disabled, we'll set that to true. And we can see local IP down here, disabled, we'll set that, well, you know what, we'll keep that disabled, but we'll set it true for SSH only. That way, if we SSH to a system that has the Starship prompt running, or if we SSH from another system to this one, then we'll see this IP address through the SSH session. So we'll save that, and immediately we can see that I need to add a space after my operating system icon, because this whole arrow prompt or triangle prompt dropped all the way back over to the left, but it has cut off part of the Fedora prompt because it's wide compared to typical prompts. So let's just edit the Starship TOML one more time. We'll come down here to find our OS. That is part of, here we go, $OS, and we'll just put a space there. Let's see how that does. Oh, that looks so much better. All right, nice and clean. Okay, so yeah, this is what it can look like on Linux. Now let's jump over and get something similar looking under PowerShell. So in order to do this, we just need to create our Starship TOML and put it in the .config folder of the administrator's home directory. The way we'll do this is I'm going to copy my TOML file into memory here. Copy. And I'm going to paste it into a new config file. So first of all, let's see what directory we're in. We are in our home directory. So let's make a directory called config with a dot in front of it, because that is the default location that Starship will look for the configuration. Okay, great. And now let's create our Starship TOML. Yes, we want to create it, and we'll just right click and paste. I will be providing a link to a GitHub repo that has my Starship configuration there so that you can easily replicate this. You'll be able to copy it from there. All right, so let's save this. Let's just move that over to the side a little bit so we can easily access it. Now, I don't need to reload anything. All I need to do is issue any command that generates the new prompt again. So let's just do a LSD on the current directory. Here we go. All right, so now we can see that instead of Ubuntu or Fedora, we have the little Windows logo here. We have a little gear icon. Now, the reason that gear icon is showing is because we are in a .config folder, which is one of the folder overrides that I have. If we change directories out of that, we're now in the home directory. Let's go into downloads. See how we've got different icons for different types of folders that we're in. Now, if we want to see the path, we can just go to a different folder, right? So let's go to Windows. And we can see that we got a little lock there. That's nice. And we'll go to System32, drivers. So we've got our path building out as we go along there. Let's see, do I have Docker? I don't think I have Docker on here, do I? No, don't have kind either. So we can see that by typing a couple commands that are invalid, the command fails and we get a little red X instead of the little green check mark. Also, we can note that over here on Windows, since we're running a PowerShell terminal, we have a PowerShell icon here instead of the bash icon we had over in my other system. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Horizon. We can see we've got the little bash icon there. Okay, let's go back to my home directory. And do we have Git? We don't have Git. Well, how are we going to install it? We could go search for the website and figure out how to install it, or we could just use Chocolatey. Yes. Oh, wait a minute. You are not running from an elevated command shell. You may experience errors. Okay, you know what? I'm going to kill that. And let's go ahead and run from an elevated command shell, because we saw earlier that it doesn't like to run as a normal user account. There we go. So Choco install git. All right, so do we have git? We can't issue the command because we need to reload our terminal in order for it to see that git is now in the path. And that's fine. There we go. So we have git now. Okay, let's go find a repo to download. You know what? Let's take a look at Starship. Let's go to their GitHub. And we're just going to go to the code. We'll do an HTTPS. There we go. We just want to get a repo showing here so we can see that we've got our little Git segment showing up in the path. Let's go into the downloads folder. We'll do a git clone of that repo. And now we'll go into the Starship folder and we can see that we now have our Git status showing. Now let's see here. Let's just, ooh, that's ugly. Much better. Okay. What should we modify? Let's just edit the README. Yeah, let's do that. Notepad, README. I'm just going to hit enter a couple times so that the file is modified. We'll hit save and we'll click back over, list again, and we can see that we now have some sort of a change that has taken place here. We can see that it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get a much nicer looking prompt working in PowerShell on your Windows environment. Now, I will note that this PowerShell configuration can be done over on Linux as well. So whether you're running Linux or Windows, whether you're running the PowerShell prompt, bash, ZSH, fish, the beautiful thing about Starship is that config file will work across all of them. Now, there may be slight nuances with various segments, but you can get a really nice looking prompt set up. If you have any questions about configuration possibilities, just head over to starship.rs, click on configuration, and you can see on that page that there's a huge variety of things that you can enable, disable, make adjustments to. You can do some advanced configuration, a whole huge variety of options that are available for Starship. Okay, I think that's going to wrap up today's video. I'll probably end up doing a video on Oh-My-ZSH in the near future because it has some interesting feature capabilities that aren't quite as easy to do with Starship. So, thanks for watching. Take care.